The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Thank you for joining. The webinar will begin in 1 minute's time. Hi all, welcome to today's webinar on an introduction to microservices for productive developers, hosted by Duncan. My name is Emily and I work for the UK Oracle User Group, and today we are extremely grateful to welcome Susan, our host and Oracle's Senior Principal Product Manager. Should you wish to get in contact with Susan, you can see her email address on the screen now and at different points throughout the webinar. So just before we get started, I just wanted to share a bit about what we as the UK Oracle User Group are up to and what we do to support you all. We deliver content through webinars such as this, meetups, events and conferences relating to both Oracle applications and technologies. Whether it's a problem with said technology, a latest update, or to make better informed decisions when deciding your journey, we as your community can help. Being independent from Oracle means we are able to deliver unbiased content and provide honest solutions to your problems. We throw several events throughout the year. We have nearly 700 organisations as members and have over 750 resources for you to use at your leisure in our library. Whether you want to meet like-minded individuals, hear from the experts, or put forward content to help others, we are the user group for you. So just some content about upcoming web events that we have. So coming soon, we have our third Technology Summit of the year, which will be hosted in Manchester on the 26th of September. The agenda has recently launched, so you are able to register now through our website. Next up, we're extremely excited to announce our biggest technology conference of the year, which will be TechFest 2019 and is taking place on the 1st to the 4th of December in Brighton. There's 4 days of jam-packed technology content, and it involves Super Sunday, which is a deep dive day full of sessions ready to then begin the full conference on the Monday. Stay tuned for the agenda, which will be launching in early September, but you are able to register now. And new for this year, along with your registration, you can also book your hotel room to stay at the Grand. And lastly, just some housekeeping for you all. So if you have any questions, there is a questions box. Please feel free to write any questions in there. And then if we have time, we will, Susan will at the end go through these and answer as many as possible. If you are unable to hear either myself or Susan during the webinar, please make sure you pop it in the chat and let me know so that we can try and resolve any issues, but hopefully there won't be any. This webinar is being recorded, and a link to this recording will be sent in the post-webinar email, along with Susan's details should you wish to get in contact. Without further ado, I shall hand you over to Oracle's Senior Principal Product Manager, Susan Duncan.
Hi, everybody. How are you this morning? Well, actually, it's gone 12, so good afternoon. Hopefully, you're seeing my slides. My name is Susan Duncan, as you've been told. I am a Principal Product Manager for Oracle's Cloud Development Tools. So the tools that I'm passionate about are Visual Builder. I'm passionate about REST services and backends and connecting to them. And I'm passionate, as always, and have been for 20 years, around what we're now calling DevOps. And so our developer cloud is also something that's very close to my heart. If you've ever been to an Oracle presentation, you'll have seen this slide many, many times. As a product manager, I talk about product direction, and the line here you should recognize is you shouldn't rely upon making purchasing decisions on anything I say. Everything I'm showing you today is production, but of course I might talk about things that may be coming up. Okay, so today I thought this is a very high level presentation. I want to talk about microservices. Why are we even talking about them? What are they? How do I work them? And a quick demo. Then I'm going to go on to productive app development, and of course using microservices in my app development. What do I mean by productive app development? How do you do it? And another demo, and then a quick summary, and hopefully we'll get to some of your questions depending on what time we've got. Okay, so let's start with microservices, and let's take a history lesson. I'm not sure where you are in your careers, in your development experiences, but I go back way before 2000, as it says on here. But I remember Waterfall and the development process that was, where projects maybe lasted a month or 6 months or a year or even 2 years or 3 years. And we started at the beginning with requirements. We did some design. We did lots and lots of documentation and specifications. Then we did some coding. Then we tested it. Then we released it. And at the point at which it was released, we quite often found that the requirements had changed, or the users that had helped us to put the requirements together and to design the specification had changed, or that the market had changed, and so the product was no longer appropriate, and we needed to start again at the top of the waterfall and step down through our development process again. And those applications were primarily sitting in one monolithic architecture, and they were deployed on a physical big server, and they were held by a data center. So I'm very interested in knowing whether you remember this kind of development. So perhaps we could have a question up. So have you been on a project using Waterfall? And you can select one of the following. In the past, yes. Currently, we're still working on a kind of Waterfall. It's something I've only read about in the history books. What is Waterfall? And me, I'm Agile all the way. So please select your most appropriate answer and let's see where we are. Oh, you're all very quiet. Okay, I think we should be okay. And wow, look at that. Yes, 80-20. Talk about an 80-20 rule. In the past, absolutely. Many of us worked on wonderful waterfall projects and had the best time, but we do accept their drawbacks. Interesting, nobody's working on one currently. Good, you've all heard about it. But 20% are Agile all the way. And I'm sure that there are many interpretations of what we mean by Agile, and I mean it in its broadest sense. So interesting. Okay. But that does mean that many of you are not Agile, but doing other systems. But, okay. Right, let's go back to my slides. Okay, so we've talked about Agile and where we were at the past, and things have moved from Waterfall to a more Agile way of working. Business users, consumers are all looking for little and often changes. They're looking for responsive screens. They're looking for updates to be made all the time. We as consumers are always looking for things to happen on the internet. Things, my web page doesn't do this, I need it to do that. So we have generally moved to a more agile development process where we can release more often, where we're in smaller teams, where we have maybe we are using a proper agile approach and we're using sprints or Kanban, or maybe we're just working in that more agile approach. And our architectures tend to now be much more end-tier. We're always looking for modularity. We're always looking for reusability, and end-tier and virtual servers and hosting are all things that help that to enable that. And more recently, the term DevOps and the whole infrastructure